Hey everybody, it's Carpo standing underneath my tree. I thought it would be a good place for a video. I have two things, and I wanted to recite a poem first off that I wrote back in, I think it was 1990 or 91. So I must have been 15 or 16. And it just popped into my head just a minute ago. And when I thought of it, it's the only poem I've ever written that I actually remember. And here, I'll just say it, okay. It's called Unknown Aspect. My mission in life is to give and not take, to love and not hate, to build and to break. Self-concern is an evil thing. No one's below us, and no one is king. Perhaps one day we may break free from the unequal scale of humanity, but day by day, as push comes to shove, the unknown aspect is finding love. And that's it. And 23 or so years later, when that popped into my head, it was like an instant, wow, like, I think that I've gone through so many changes in my life, or that, I was maybe more ignorant as a kid, but the truth is that even when I was young, I had this same outlook, and I guess I overlooked it, myself. And then in that poem, there's a particular line that really gets me. It's my mission in life is to give and not take, to love and not hate, to build and to break. And I remember my mom telling me, that should say to build and not break. And I said, no, that's the way it was written. That's the poem. When I write poetry, I don't think it through. I just write it. And that's what came out. And so I'm sitting here trying to process why to build and to break, And I guess it was my subconscious telling me, to be realistic, You can build, but you're going to break things in your life. It's just a fact, But I guess maybe it shouldn't be a mission in life. But anyway, the rest of the poem really, I don't know. The reason it popped into my head is because I was thinking about that line, self-concern is an evil thing. No one's below us and no one is king. And I thought that was correlating to what I was originally going to make this video about, which was, well, self-pity. And I don't really like talking about the subject because a lot of people are, have a lot of self-pity. And I guess I can understand it to an extent. It's almost like people can feed off of it, the folks, the ones who are always whining about something, Oh, I'm low on gas. When they just got to work, they're worrying about gas going home. Just little stuff like that. Oh man, I really had a rough night last night. I'm so burnt out. Oh, dude, I'm hungover, man. Oh, dude. Those are just like really mundane examples, but those are the ones that you can affect yourself. If a person comes and they're complaining because they have a hangover and they come to work, it's like, you caused that. It's your own fault. Don't drink. It's that simple. But then I have a problem with alcohol. Well, then get over your problem with alcohol. And that's okay if a person doesn't want to change their behaviors. But whining about them, it really gets to me. I mean, it gets old when a person just wants to talk about negative things. And it kind of correlates with yesterday's video about negativity, but it's just like, really? I mean, some of the things that I hear people complain about are so small. Like, I endure chronic pain, so I don't, when I hear somebody say, oh man, my arm hurts, it's like, whatever, or my back hurts, oh, I pulled a muscle last week, it's like, dude, I fucked up my nerve 4 years ago, I know how it is. And I'll talk about my issues with people if they want to listen, but I really avoid my personal, my personal problems in life. I avoid bringing those up in a conversation because it's not somebody else's problem. And it shouldn't be. It's all me. And everything I've done in my life is my own fault. I was just talking to my wife about, how I've been kind of stressed lately. And I hadn't been working for a while. And I said, now that I'm back to work, I'm actually more stressed. She's like, why? It's like, because now I feel like I'm just scrambling to stay afloat, try to pay the bills, can't go shopping because we got to pay the mortgage and that kind of stuff. But I don't whine about it, but it stresses me out. And then when I thought about it, I said, well, if it stresses me out, then I just need to combat the stress. It's not a literal stress, because I really don't stress anymore about anything. But if it's things that I think about and it come up, and I was like, well, if I have a problem that's stressing me out, 99% of the time it's my own fault. And once I acknowledge that, that changes everything. Changes the whole ballgame. Because then you can look at your problems from a different light and stop blaming everyone else for your problems. So there's the complainers, and then there's the complainers that blame everyone else, whether it be their parents, the government, whatever. And we are us now, in our bodies, as individuals. We're not our parents. We're not our circumstances from the past. That's another thing. People who want self-pity about shit they went through in their lives. That's the worst kind of self-pity. Because, I try to empathize with people, but I can't, because you just have to get past that. So, I don't know. It sounds like I'm just talking out my ass, at least to me in my own mind. It's like, oh yeah, here's a guy saying to stop whining about stuff, whatever. I'm sure he's got his problems. Yeah, I do. Goddamn straight I do. I mean, I have all kinds of problems. But they're not issues. They're just problems. And problems are only for one thing, solving. So I try to solve them, Like, my biggest issue right now is my toothache. It's driving me nuts, and it's been hurting for like 3 days. So what do I do? Oh man, my teeth hurts. Go to the dentist. I don't have insurance or anything, but I do have a care credit. I can pay it off. Point is, I can get it taken care of. I could probably go do it tomorrow morning. Probably go into a place and be like, hey man, I'll get this taken care of. But even though I'm hurting for 3 days, I don't sit and have self-pity about it and whine about it. I just acknowledge that it's my own fault and move on. So before I repeat myself too many times, I'll just end the video. But if I could leave with one thing, it would be, don't listen to shit I say. Experience it all for yourself. It's so easy. All you have to do is walk outside. The whole world is filled with awesomeness. And oh, hey birdie. There's a bird like sitting right there behind me. It's an awesome world, and it's just like there's enough goodness to not have to complain about all the little things in life. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. That complainers and self-pitiers, are like detrimental to a functioning society. We all need to keep our shoulders up and do it. Move forward. Peace.